Nick, this is a little bit different, though, in terms of the amount of time you have between the conference championship game and the playoff. What kind of challenge does that present for you to prepare?
I think where the real challenge comes is just time and other things that you do in college football to sort of reinforce your players for all the things that they do, not only on the field but off the field. For example, we usually have a banquet on December the 6th, and now we're not having a banquet until today. We're going to do an award show. But we got to get ready for a game, and we got to clean up yesterday's game. And we had graduation last weekend, so we had to fly back from Arkansas and have the guys walk for graduation. So everything is just squeezed. But a lot of the other things that go into, the life of a student athlete kind of get squeezed a little bit too. But we don't need to have 3 weeks off to be able to play in these games. It's just a little different from all the other things that happen with college football players.
And how have those things impacted the feeling that you expressed last night in the postgame about how you feel about this team and the spirit that they've shown in pursuing championships?
Well, this team has done a phenomenal job all year long of handling disruptions, overcoming adversity, being resilient to various things that have happened, whether it's me missing a game, other coaches missing games, players missing games. They've really stayed focused. And we told them all early on that, the team that handles the disruptions the best is the team that's going to have the best chance to be successful in the end. And I think, our players certainly did that. I'm really proud of this team. It's really interesting when the best players on your team are the best people on your team. It always makes for an enjoyable team to coach.
Coach, we always talk about your offense and how explosive they've been. I wanted to ask you about the defense. I know there were some question marks coming into the season. 4 new DBs, Dylan Moses coming off a knee injury. People wondered where the pass rush would come from. We know you gave up 48 points against Ole Miss early, but they really improved after that point, getting better and better and seemingly a lot more confident. What changes did you see? Where has your defense gotten so much better?
Well, I think the young players, we played 3-4 freshmen, a significant amount on defense. And I think early on they were a little unsure of what was expected of them. I think they've gotten more confident. I think the group has gotten more confident. We had 4 out of 5 new starters in the secondary, so that helped. And even though we knew that we would be very challenged matchup-wise yesterday because of Florida's offense, they've got some really great mismatched players. I don't think we responded and played as well as I would have liked to seen them play in the game. I think they played a little bit on their heels, but that'll be a learning lesson for them, and hopefully we'll be able to improve from that as well.
Hey, Coach, I want to go back to what you talked about managing a lot of things. And you're probably as good and more experienced than any college coach with routine, whether it was the BCS era and having a 30-day layoff, getting your team to peak at the right time. Within the playoff structure, you've had different times and different amount of days to get a team ready. You're sitting at 12 days. How do you find the plan? How do you derive that plan and build a 12-day plan to know what it takes to get your team mentally, physically right to peak just right on the first?
Well, I think this is a lot like having a bye week. I would say that we're going to try to manage it a lot like we would a bye week. So that's not a routine that's abnormal for the players to understand. And at least we can give the players 3 days during Christmas to be able to do that. I have a hard time. We let our players go home when we had a bye week. We tried to educate their families and those that had not tested positive on the safety issues and the things that they needed to do to, stay safe and healthy so we wouldn't have an issue on our team. I don't have the heart to tell the players that they can't go home for Christmas. So we're going to try to do the same thing in that regard. And so we'll give them 3 days off for Christmas, practice a day or two before they go, and then have kind of a normal week when we come back. So that's the plan, and that's the way we'll try to implement it.
Hey, Coach, how have you guys managed the mental grind that 2020 has been as far as the testing all the time, the practicing, not knowing if you're going to have a game versus not knowing if you're going to be at a game. We always talk about the physicality of football and what that is to deal with, but how have you guys managed the mental aspect of what this season has been?
Well, that's been the thing that I've been most concerned about all year long. And we've probably been a little more lenient with the players in terms of how much we've practiced, how we changed practice routine, how we've kind of cut back practice. We've given them, some days off along the ways on Monday where we'd get 2 days off instead of, a normal week. So we've tried to implement some of those things along the way. Like before we played LSU, we didn't practice on Monday just to change the routine, knowing that we were going to play 3 games in a row and the third one would be an SEC championship game. So we want to continue to try to manage our team, not just physically, as you mentioned, but also psychologically, because this season has been longer than most. We haven't played any more games, but they have been a lot more spread out. And psychologically, that's really what grinds on the players, I think.
As you get ready for this matchup in the Rose Bowl game, which will be played in Dallas, Nick, what are your initial impressions, what you've seen of Notre Dame so far?
Well, other than seeing them on TV, we hadn't a chance to look at them. I know they have a very good team. They beat, Clemson, who has a really, really good team. So I know they've got a really good quarterback. They play very good, very tough defense. They've got some skill guys that can make plays. So I don't think you win a 10 games in this season without having some really, really good players. Because I think that was the big thing about this season. The people who played 10 and 11 games had to survive the grind. And the grind of this season was a whole lot different than any other season. And, that's why I thought those teams should be rewarded. But I think Ohio State has a great team, and, they probably deserve to be in the playoff as well based on the quality of team that they have. So it was a tough challenge, I think, for everybody, but I know Notre Dame's got a fantastic team, and it'll be a difficult preparation for us because I do know from watching them they play a little bit different. They've got lots of tight ends, big tight ends. We haven't played against a team like that this year, so it'll be an interesting challenge.
Nick, we appreciate your time. Congratulations on returning to the college football playoff again, and wish you all the best.
Well, I'm very happy to be here with you, and I wish you all a happy holiday, and I appreciate what ESPN does for college football and reinforcing a lot of positive things and promoting our game for players. So thank you for that.